بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وبعد, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, on Saturday after Maghrib we talk about some of the rules that we need to learn every day in the daily life of the Muslim, which is يعني al-ibadat and everything that we do. We talked about salah and the perfection in ibadah, in salah, and in this series inshallah we started something new, talking about ahkam al-Jana'iz, the rules of Jana'iz, of the funeral and making salat al-janaza and making kafan and preparing the deceased body and the brother or the sister for the janaza, which is the next level after this life, the first step of hereafter, which is hayatul barzakh, the life of the grave between this life and before the hereafter, or before the day of judgment. Last time we talked about helping the ill person or the sick person to say shahada, which is called at-talqeen, to help him to say ashhadu an la ilaha illallah or la ilaha illallah, and to be the last word to be said before his death, because this is when a person says something like this, says kalimat al-tawheed, and it's the last thing he says, so he goes to Jannah, as Prophet ﷺ did. Now after having him died, what shall we do, and what shall people who attend this situation do in this regard? We're talking about the family, we're talking about the friends, his mates. As a Muslim, when we see a situation, when we see something happens like this, a person died in front of you, what shall you do? How do you react in this regard? فنتكلم عن هذا إن شاء الله. الأمر الأول أن يغمضوا عينيه. The one who is attending the situation of death, and he sees that in front of him, first thing he needs to do is to close his eye, and this is regarding the deceased. This is something that you do it for him, that you close his eye, because Prophet ﷺ, he told us that his eyes follows the soul when it's taken. The soul, when it's taken by the angel of death, and he has his group, the angels of death, they come with him, and this process happens. So the person, he looks at his soul is taken, and subhanAllah, this is something horrible. When you look at this, when you feel something like this, you don't think about money, you don't think about jobs, you don't think about the market, you don't think about your family, you don't think about the husband or the wife, you don't think about the parents, you don't think about the offspring, you only think about your place, your next place, what is going to be, Is it a good place? Is it a bad place? Am I going to be, a good person in the hereafter, in the next step of this, of the life? So, what shall I have, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows this to happen to me? It's very horrible, and it's very hard, even for everyone. For the Prophet ﷺ, he used to say, "Inna lil mawti la sakarat." When he was, his soul was taken, ﷺ, he used to say, "Inna lil mawti la sakarat." This death has hardships, and Allah makes it easy for the believers, and it becomes so hard for the non-believers. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cause this to happen to us when we are believers and righteous believers. Allahumma ameen. والدليل في ذلك, the evidence that the person should do something like this, that he closes the eye of the deceased person, and he should make the dua. This first thing that person should make. حديث سلمة رضي الله عنها في الصحيحين قالت دخل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على أبي سلمة. Abu Salama, the husband of Salama, that Prophet ﷺ, when Abu Salama died, so Prophet ﷺ went to him to visit him. So she said, وَقَدْ شَقَّ بَصَرُهُ, شَقَّ بَصَرُهُ, his eyes were open, fixed, and it was open because he was following his soul when it was taken. فأغمضه النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, that Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, he closed his eyes with his hand عليه الصلاة والسلام. ثم قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام إن الروح إذا قبض تبعه البصر. When soul of son of Adam a man or a woman is, when the soul is taken, so basar, the sight, follows the soul, is looking at it. Subhanallah al-Azim. فَضَجَّ نَاسٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِ. So people cried, and they cried out. They were so sad because of this situation. When Prophet ﷺ saw them doing that, he advised them with this beautiful nasiha, with this beautiful advice. He said to them, ﷺ, لا تدعوا على أنفسكم. You know, if you wanna, the sadness is not gonna leave you. I know that. You're gonna cry. I know that. But be careful. Be careful your reactions, your words. لا تدعوا على أنفسكم. Do not make a dua against yourself. I lose any one of my family, anyone I love. So the person, sometimes he's so sad, so he wishes many things. I wish not to be here. I wish the death for myself. I wish to be handicapped. I wish to have all kinds of diseases in my body. I wish to lose everything. And he says that. Some people, they say that. And this is against mas'alat al-rida. And we're going to talk about this, inshallah. Yarhamukumullah. So this is against dissatisfaction with Allah's destiny. To be sad doesn't mean it is allowed for you to say bad words, evil words, objections, or you make a dua against yourself or for anyone, you know. So Prophet ﷺ, he said, be careful, do not make a dua against yourself. Illa bi khair. If you want to make dua, just make a dua with good things. And Prophet ﷺ, he will teach them what is the best dua when you have anyone die in front of you. So فإن الملائكة يؤمنون على ما تقول. Why you're not allowed to make a dua against yourself or against anyone? Because there are angels in this situation and they say Ameen regarding whatever you say. If you say a good dua, they say Ameen. So Allah give me better than the deceased and forgive him and give him the mercy. So they say Ameen. If you say, oh Allah, take everything from me, cause me to die, and I wish to lose everything. So the angels, they say Ameen as well. So I have to be careful with my words, with my reactions when I have a situation like this. And then Prophet ﷺ, he made a dua for Abi Salama. So first thing, he closed his eyes, he advised people, and we should do that if we see, you know, the situation hard inside the family or in the house or in the community. We should advise them as well. And then you start making the dua. And Prophet ﷺ, he did the dua and he advised Salama to make a dua. We have different narrations for this hadith. So one of these narrations that Prophet ﷺ قال اللهم اغفر لأبي سلمة. The first thing you ask Allah for the deceased is to ask him to forgive that one. Because this is what he needs. He doesn't need anything except for forgiveness. If he gets the forgiveness of Allah, he succeeds. If he gets everything, the celebrations that like non-believers do or some people do, and the flowers and this and that, this doesn't make anything, doesn't help with anything. Only the forgiveness of Allah. If he or she gets the forgiveness of Allah, they succeed. So that's why first thing we need to say when the person dies, we say Allahumma ghfir li fulan. Oh Allah, forgive so and so. Prophet ﷺ said, Allahumma ghfir li Abi Salama. And then he said, وَارْفَعْ دَرَجَتَهُ فِي الْمَهْدِيِّينَ. You know, the guided people, the rightly guided people. Oh Allah, elevate the rank, the degree of Abi Salama to be amongst those guided people, to be amongst the prophets, to be amongst the righteous, the mindful of Allah, the awliyaullah, to be one of the good people, to be with them. Oh Allah, elevate his degrees, his ranks, to be with those guided people. وَارْفَعْ دَرَجَتَهُ فِي الْمَهْدِيِّينَ اللهم اغفر لأبي سلمة. اللهم ارفع درجته في المهديين واخلفه في عقبه في الغابرين. يعني grant him a good substitute, a good person to be his successor after his death. If he has a kid, if he has a daughter, oh Allah, make them the best successors for him. Because for some people, when it happens like this, everyone goes wherever he likes or she likes. The wife, the daughter, the son, and so on. And this is one of the mistakes the father committed in his life. He didn't discipline them in the right way. He didn't leave something behind him that can protect them, like Quran, like Sadaqah, like Qiyam Layl, like A'mal Salihah, like Hajj and Umrah. He's doing his best in his life because he knows when he leaves this life, only the good deeds will protect them. الأعمال الصالحة سيكون هذا هو الموروث الحقيقي له. His real inheritance is not the money. They could be deviated with money. They could go and misled and misguided because of money. But salah, principles, disciplining, teachings of Al-Quran, teachings of Sunnah, this is what will last forever. These teachings. So you do the job, you do your best. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to make our responsibility in the best way, and to fulfill this responsibility in the best way, and to guide our families and our offspring and our wives. Allahumma ameen. And to give mercy to anyone who died of our families and all Muslims. Allahumma ameen. So Prophet ﷺ is making a dua to have for Abu Salama, to have a good one to succeed or to be a good successor for him after his death. اخلفه في عاقبه في الغابرين واغفر لنا وله يا رب العالمين. And then Prophet ﷺ, he made a dua for himself and for all Muslims, and he confirmed the forgiveness for his brother again. He said, "Oh Allah, forgive us and forgive him." Allahumma ameen. He confirmed asking Allah Azza wa Jal the forgiveness. وَافْسَحْ لَهُ فِي قَبْرِهِ, يعني expand his grave, because we have اتساع القبر وضيق القبر. اتساع القبر becomes expanded for the believer, and it becomes so narrow for the non-believer that subhanallah تتداخل أعضاؤه، أعضاء الجسد تتداخل بعضها في بعض, that he's squeezed and all the organs of the body comes together in a way that we don't know how. This is one of the unseen. We believe in it. Who told us? Prophet ﷺ told us that. And we believe in him ﷺ in what he said. So you ask Allah for him that his grave is expanded, it's widely open for him, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him the best. Okay? So this dua, I'd like to repeat it again. You can memorize Allahumma ghafir li Abi Salama. You can name any person instead of Abi Salama. Allahumma ghafir li fulan وارفع درجته في المهديين واخلفه في عقبه في الغابرين واغفر لنا وله يا رب العالمين وأفسح له في قبره. اللهم اغفر لفلان، اللهم ارفع درجته في عليين واخلفه في عقبه في الغابرين، اللهم ارفع درجته في المهديين واخلفه في عقبه في الغابرين واغفر لنا وله يا رب العالمين وأفسح له في قبره. This is one of the dua we learned from Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. And then Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, he taught Salama something to say. So as a wife, she need to learn something like this. That Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام said to Salama, قولي اللهم اغفر لي وله وأعقبني منه عقبى حسنة. اللهم اغفر لي وله, oh Allah, forgive me and forgive him. وأعقبني منه عقبى حسنة, يعني give me a substitute, something better than him, يا رب العالمين. And also Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام said to Salama as well, different narrations as we said, ما من مسلم تصيبه مصيبة فيقول ما أمره الله عز وجل إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون اللهم أجرني في مصيبتي وأخلف لي خيرا منها إلا أخلف الله له خيرا منها. Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام said, anyone dies and the person says what Allah ordered him to say, which is إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. It's the first thing you need to say. Oh Allah, we belong to you and we will return to you. Everything belongs to Allah and everything will return to Allah Azza wa Jal. If the person says this and then says, Allahumma ajurni fi musibati, oh Allah, give me reward in this crisis, because it's the biggest crisis ever when a person loses any of his family. Any person, When that happens, that's a big crisis. So you say, oh Allah, give me the reward in this, because I will be patient, Ya Allah. I will do my best to be patient. And it's very grave, it's very hard, it's very difficult for me to lose him. And I'll do my best to be patient. So give me the reward when I have it, Ya Allah. Allahumma ajurni fi musibati. Wa akhlif li khayran minha. Give me something better than it. A husband, if a son, if a wife, give me something better, Ya Allah. And Allah knows the best. No one can say that there is nothing better than her. There is nothing better than my kid. There is nothing better than my father, my mother, my brother. We don't know. Allah, He's the all-wise, Azza wa Jal, Al-Hakim, Al-Alim, the all-knowing, Azza wa Jal. And you believe in the dua. When you say it, you believe in it. You believe that there is something better. And Salama, she did this dua. And when she was doing this dua, she was thinking that no one is better than Abi Salama. Who's better than Abi Salama? من المسلمين الأوائل. يعني he's one of the early people became Muslims. And هاجر الهجرتين. هاجر إلى مكة وهاجر إلى الحبشة وهاجر إلى المدينة. So he's prominent. Subhanallah. فأم سلمة أول بيت هاجر. أول بيت هاجر. And she's the first house to travel and migrate. So who's better than Abi Salama? Prophet ﷺ, he said, if you say the dua, Allahumma ajurni fi musibati wa akhlifni khayran minha, Allah gives you something better. But you should believe in it. You should do it from your heart and believing in its meaning. So Salama, when she did it, she said, فأعقبني قالت فأعقبني الله عز وجل فأخلف الله لي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. That Allah give me the substitute who's better than Abi Salama, Prophet Muhammad himself. He came and he married me, alayhi salatu wasalam. So Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam is the best one in the world, and he married Salama, and that was because of the barakah, the blessing of her dua that Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam taught us. We need to learn that, and we need to believe in its meaning. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Allahumma ajurni fi musibati وأخلف لي خيرا منها. So this is number one, making the dua, closing the eye of the deceased. Also, تغطية الميت. If you see that situation, if you attend in that situation, you should cover the deceased. You have to do that. Because عائشة رضي الله عنها تقول سجي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حين مات بثوب حبارة. Thawb hibara, one of the kinds of athwab, of clothes from Yemen. It's very good clothes that they used to use it in their daily life. And Prophet ﷺ, he was covered with this. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he came after that and he uncovered his face and kissed him from his forehead, alayhi salatu wassalam. But this is for anyone except for the al-muhrim. الشخص الذي أحرم بحج أو بعمرة, the one who intended to make hajj and he wore ihram, and while he's in ihram, he's in the case of ihram, after saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik, he's in the case of ihram. The person in this case, if it happens to him and he dies, so he's not going to be covered, his face is not going to be covered, because Prophet ﷺ said, because he will be resurrected making talbiyah, resurrected by saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik. He will have this when he dies. Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام أخبر برجل وقع عن راحلته فوقصته دابته فوقصته الراحلة. A person fell down from his mount, his camel, whatever, and he died. So Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام said اغسلوه بماء وسدر, wash him with water and sidr, which we use it for washing and cleaning. وَكَفِّنُوهُ فِي ثَوْبَيْنِ, use two thawbs in making the shrouds and a coffin. وَلَا تُحَنِّطُوهُ وَلَا تُخَمِّرُوا رَأْسَهُ. لَا تُحَنِّطُوهُ, do not have the perfume for him, and do not make تخمير الرأس, which is covering of his head. فإنه يبعث يوم القيامة ملبيا, he will be resurrected making talbiyah, لبيك اللهم لبيك. One of the things we need to do it, that we need to hurry up with the preparations for the deceased. He died today, so we have to make the steps of the preparation quickly, as soon as possible. Because this is Sunnat al-Nabi alayhi salam, we're not going to wait for so and so days, unless if it's necessity. Like here in US, for example, a person, he has no family, So we put him in the coolers till the family comes, till people are gathered, till you finish the papers in the hospital, in the county, whatever you do it, is the procedures for the deceased. So if it's not this necessity, so we have to be quick as much as we can. In the hadith, Prophet ﷺ said, أسرعوا بالجنازة. أسرعوا بالجنازة, it includes all kinds of hurrying up. So أسرعوا بالجنازة includes the preparations for the janazah before the salah and during salah and after salah and going to the graveyard and burying the brother or the sister. It's in all phases or steps of the janazah. After the death, we have to make all the procedure quickly. أسرعوا بالجنازة فإن تك صالحة, because if it was good soul, good body, good person, فإن تك صالحة فخير تقدمونها إليه. So you take this janazah to something they love, which is يرى مقعده من الجنة. He's gonna see, or she's gonna see her place or his place in Jannah, and he's gonna enjoy that. So we need to make it, quickly, so that they enjoy the enjoyments and the joyful things that Allah prepared for them. وَإِن يَكُ سِوَى ذَلِكَ, and if it was bad, if it was evil, we ask Allah to protect us from all kinds of evil. فَشَرٌ تَضَعُونَهُ عَنْ رِقَابِكُمْ. This is evil, and you need to leave this evil away. You need to stay away from this evil as soon as possible, because it's evil soul. We ask Allah to give us the goodness in this life and in the hereafter. Allahumma ameen. One of the things that we do it as well, that if the person dies in his place, so it is the sunnah to bury him in this place. If he's in Colorado, so it's the sunnah to bury him in Colorado. He went to Mecca, he died there, so it's the sunnah to be buried there. If he's in Egypt, it's the sunnah to be buried in Egypt. Even if he's not one of the people of Egypt, he was visiting there, it's the sunnah, the place he dies, that place he's buried. This is sunnah to Nabi alayhi salam. And we didn't see in the Prophet's sunnah or the life of the Sahaba that a person died, for example, in Iraq, and they carried his body to a different place. And this is the sunnah, unless there is a necessity, that his family, all of his family is back home. And the family, they need him, they need to visit him, and they insist to do something like that. And nothing harmful will happen to the body. For example, he will be carried there, transported there, and the body will be okay. And you're sure of that. But if the body is not going to be okay, the process of carrying the body is not going to be okay, and it will be corrupt and it will be harmful for him. Even if he's dead, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Even if he makes a wasiyah, my wasiyah is to be buried, for example, in Egypt. And by the way, I told my family, if I die here, I will be buried here. And that was, that's the sunnah to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, and that's my wasiyah to my family. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to gather between us in the best places in this life and in hereafter. Allahumma ameen. So the sunnah for the person to be buried in his place, in the place he dies. And Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, Jabir ibn Abdullah يقول, كنا حملنا القتلى يوم أحد لندفنهم. So Uhud is a place where they died. The 70 Sahaba, where they died in Uhud, in the battlefield. So they tried to carry them to have them in Baqi', for example. فلندفنهم فجاء منادي النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, he sent a person calling people. إن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يأمركم أن تدفنوا القتلى في مضاجعهم فرددناهم. So Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام sent a person calling people, bury everyone in his place and do not carry them to different places. وعائشة رضي الله عنها لما مات أخ لها بوادي الحبشة فحمل من مكانه, she ordered them to carry him, قالت ما أجد في نفسي أو يحزنني في نفسي إلا أني وددت أنه كان دفن في مكانه. After she did that, because her brother, but she يعني اجتهدت في المسألة وأمرتهم أن يحملوا أخا له. When she did her, her effort and thinking about this issue, she asked them to carry her brother, and after that she blamed herself. I shouldn't do that because this is not Prophet ﷺ sunnah. So she regretted and she blamed herself in this regard, not to to be done this way. This is some of the things that we need to learn after the death of anyone. And I have more. We inshallah are going to continue in this series in the next Saturday بإذن الله عز وجل. نسأل الله عز وجل أن يرزقنا حسن الخاتمة. اللهم ارزقنا حسن الخاتمة. اللهم أحسن عملنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم أحسن خاتمتنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم اختم لنا بخاتمة السعادة. اختم لنا بلا إله إلا الله. اختم لنا بكلمة التوحيد. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا. اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيي على الإيمان ومن توفيته فتوفه على الإسلام. اللهم أنجي إخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان. اللهم أنجي إخواننا المستضعفين في غزة وارحم شهداءهم وتقبلهم في الشهداء يا رب العالمين، وارفع درجاتهم في عليين مع المهديين، واخلفهم في أعقابهم في الغابرين يا رب العالمين، واغفر لنا ولهم ولجميع موتى المسلمين. وصل اللهم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وجزاكم الله خيرا.